Well, I do want to say today there's a little bit of a reason why I'm in the shop today instead of in my other corner. And it's kind of because today I've kind of got some stories to tell and sort of need all the space I can get to do a video and have the shop door closed without any interruptions. So that is kind of the reason why I get on here right now, just to tell you all a little how it is, what I'm doing right now. And do want to tell you all that today I've got a walnut fox blank and a cherry fox blank. I'm going to carve both kind of in a little flat plane style like I did the kitties in the last video. And there's a few things I'm going to mention about this. I had originally cut out two cherry blanks and two walnut blanks and put them in a place where I thought they'd be, where I was going to carve them, but they get mislaid, things get laid on top of things get scattered around. You never know where they went, and so I'd say, they're kind of, I'd say, rather mislaid right now. I'm having a hard time finding them, and they'll turn up, but these two just happen to be ones I left in my scrap box where I leave all the other blanks I carve. And there's little stories I'm going to tell today while I'm carving. I'm going to start out with the fox kind of going along the right ear right here. And as for that, make the little cut to the edge. And this little work, it shall come its way and make us so we see how it's going to look, how it's going to be. This is how I've started. I've cut these two lines here. I'm going to make the same two lines on the cherry one now. I think these pieces of cherry wood that I carved, that I sawed some of these out of, were a little bit thicker than the walnut pieces. It all might just depend on which part of the tree you get it off of. But I do kind of have a story to tell that I was on the way to work today at my school cafeteria job, and my phone vibrated in my pocket as I was on the way to work. Now, I don't answer my cell phone while I'm driving, so of course I didn't answer it, but as soon as I got up to the intersection where you either go straight or make a right turn to go into the school, cops were blocking it both ways, so I had to turn to the left, go up to the highway, turn right onto the highway, pull over, and check my phone. Sure enough, I saw it was the school's number. There's a little thing I'm going to do here now. I'm going to carve along the back on each side. And sure enough, yes, it was the school's number, and I had a voicemail message, and so I listened to my voicemail, and the boss said, "Jonathan, as soon as you get this message, call me." I figured something was going wrong, something was happening, could have been anything, so I called her back, and she kind of said, told me what had happened, told me not to come in today because of what happened. There's been different stories we've heard, different times, different places, different ways, and as for how this little story went, I mean, there was a certain thing she told me, probably what she thought it was or what they thought it might have been. See, I'm going to go along the same lines on the cherry one too. And, of course, I took the day off. So, I came back home, got on my computer, Googled it. Sure enough, when I did Google it, there was something I saw on there. It just so turned out that all it was just that they suspected a student might have been carrying a weapon. So, we kind of know how it is these days, how we've kind of got so much to watch out for in our society today. So much goes on in the schools these days. It's horrible, and I mean, it was always kind of different in the old days. Back in my days, when I was in elementary school, you could even bring swords from other countries to school just to show them off. You could bring knives in your lunch just to cut up lunch, but by the time I got into high school, it just got to the point where even from their elementary schools, they were suspending kids for bringing knives to school for innocent reasons such as that. There's a little place I'm going to make now. I'm going to carve along the tail here. So we got a little plane carved here along the lower part of the tail. And this is a little thing as far as what I think it's going to be. We got the work to come along here, make it so it brightly shines in the light, makes a new day out of us all. And for all things I say, this is a good amount of work to us. I'm going to make this little cut here along the fox's hind leg to kind of make it so it comes out like it ought to be, and see how it works when it all comes down to that. Apparently there's a line I forgot to draw on the other side here, so we're going to make that line. We're going to make a little cut along that line and show how we got the work to come, making it so it comes easy to us, and seeing things we may ever see in the wood carving industry. It's a good industry to get into. I like it a lot, and I'd say for all things, it's worth it in the long run. Felt like of all things today, I needed to come on and make a video after all I'd been through. Going to take the same little steps on the walnut fox here. It was quite the adventure today, and as a matter of fact, as soon as I turned off on the highway and started heading back home, I saw there's a certain place where I knew that a Dollar Tree store was, so I stopped by there and purchased some photo frames, and I mean, I actually purchased some prints from a young lady who makes them, who calls her company Silver Solstice Prints. And there's also a place called High on Art and Coffee that's here in Lexington where some of those prints are sold. I purchased some from there and just decided, like I've done with any prints I've purchased from anybody, get frames for them so that they can be up on my wall and make a good sentiment of somebody. So that's how I kind of do the work all along. And so today was a good day to get out, get that taken care of. And so all the work I've done, it's all just been a lot of good days and bad days. And so there's just so much to say these days, so much to know, so much to do. Might not make this video too long. There's no telling what I'm going to need to do before the end. But here you see I've kind of chipped in the hind legs a little bit. There's a place where I need to come up here and make this little cut to make the front of the hind leg. And there's also a little cut I'm going to need to make the back of the foreleg. So I'd say foxes are popular right now. A lot of people like them. A lot of people want them. They're just getting all the attention on the market. I came up with this pattern I drew out where I decided to change the dimensions a little bit, make it a little bigger, because I was just having too much struggle with that other fox pattern I did. And so even on the other side here, we're cutting out the front of the hind leg and the back of the foreleg. So indeed, I say it was quite an adventurous day, and so there's just so much to share. And this weekend is going to be one of my 2 weekends that I'm going to get off from going to shows. Got a day to work tomorrow. I'll be back at work because they're more than likely going to open the school again, have everything back to normal again, because it is going to be the day that finally, they're probably going to have everything taken care of. I even saw in the news that parents were coming up to pick up their students at the school, pick up their children who were students at the school, because that was kind of what they needed for the day. And so this little work, I say, kind of how it is. There's been days, there's been other events take place there. There's been students pull fire alarms. There's been bomb threats when I've been there. Some of that stuff, even when I was in school, it happened. These days they just have many more surveillance cameras in the school, and they're able to see everything that goes on. Not everything gets identified otherwise, because it was hard to identify students in those days, and for all they did and for all they were and for all that they could show and do and say. And so as for this little bit of work, I'm making it come along. Sure enough, we're going to do it on the Walnut Fox 2. Try to make this little line so it comes out right. And so we're going to see it make its way out, see what it's going to be, see what it's going to do. Oh, and I tell y'all, we just kind of need a lot of work to go on in here. We just need a lot of work to do. I tell you, I kind of for about 24 hours decided I was going to take my carving break. But then, little things happened today, so I needed a little something to do and a reason to get back on the video again. So I decided to make this my day, to make the recording again. Make it so it shall work its way up to me and you. See a little light in us, make us all happy and bold and brave as we can be. Oh, I see. Somehow we're going to get this work to come along. And this is the step we have to take yet. I took this same step along its front leg and foreleg. We're going to do it the same on the other side as well. And this comes out to be like a flat plane fox. I do want to tell you all a little bit more I learned about the dachshund pattern. I'll show you all some ways I've changed it around, but for that dachshund I've made out of walnut that I've taken out to some shows and had one lady look at it and say it didn't look like a dachshund. When I was at another show talking about the dogs I made, I told them that I had a dachshund among them. They asked me where the dachshund was, and I showed it to them, and the lady said it needs a longer body. So you've probably even seen the picture on social media of the dachshund that I carved, and you probably know that its body really isn't all that long. It's kind of short, and probably because I tried to make the pattern to the best of my own abilities, but there's a lot of trial and error involved, and we find out what it's going to be once it really comes down to it. Got a little cut to make right in front of the foreleg here. That's the one thing we got to do yet. And that's the part we got to make come along just right. Sometime when I get a chance, I'll show you all the dachshund patterns according to how they turned out. But I will say that I recreated the dachshund pattern, so it will have a longer body next time, but so that it won't be such a big carving, it's probably going to have to be shrunk a little. So we're going to have little matters like that to take care of soon. We're going to get them underway. We're going to get them in our hands. We're going to do what we need to do to make the patterns what they're supposed to be. So I say, there's a little work we do along this. I say that there's probably other little steps we're going to take further down the line. Make it so it'll come out a little better than it has been. But I think I have at this point made the video long enough. I think I'm going to stop it for now and maybe take a little break from the video and give it a chance to upload to Amazon Photos. At least if nothing else, maybe not upload it to YouTube tonight, but eventually it will be uploaded by the time you see it. So I might download it to delete from my account and online, and then after that perhaps record the next part of the series. So anyway, thank you all for watching, and I want you to take care and to be safe.